So the former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger has distanced himself from the chaos around Gianni Infantino and his collapsing plan to sell off the World Cup. Wenger, who's now the chief of global football development at FIFA, put out a statement saying the plan had to be scrapped and denied any knowledge of the scheme. Martyn Ziegler is the Times chief sports reporter and is with us live on the line. Hi to you, Martyn.
John, good to be with you again.
Great to have you, Martyn. So before we get on to Arsene Wenger, there's been this remarkable statement from the Jordanian FA.
Yeah, Prince Ali Al Hussein, who is the son of the King of Jordan, head of the FA there, he has been a sort of long-time campaigner for good governance in FIFA, and actually stood for the FIFA presidency himself 10 years ago. But he has said, basically, he was called it blackmail, essentially. He said he was, during the World Cup, he said to FIFA he had lots of problems getting money owed to the Jordanian FA from playing in the Arab Cup. And he said it was communicated to me verbally that if I endorse Infantino, it would go a long way to helping us out. But we pride ourselves in upholding ethical values. We did not endorse him before and certainly will not do now. The whole situation amounts to blackmail and we refuse to give in to that. Which I think this just shows the sort of pressure that's been put on national associations even before this whole scandal broke, to endorse Infantino and effectively sort of say, we will help you if you don't, if you endorse him, and you're going to have problems if you don't. And I understand similar things are happening now to try and get backing from the associations.
Really? I'm just going to ask you about that now. Although we have this Jordanian leader's statement, which sort of adds to the charge of bribery, one of coercion, and you're telling me it hasn't stopped.
No, I think it's been stepped up because he's trying to cling on to power. Obviously, he's facing this sort of alliance from Europe and Asia and CONCACAF Confederation leaders. And he's got his lieutenants putting pressure on especially some of the smaller associations to say you need to come out and support him. And he's been putting on Instagram various statements. We've had this sort of Lebanese FA, the Djibouti FA, the Qataris. So, but only 15 or so, not that many, considering he claimed to have more than 200 less than a month ago.
He seems to be really battling a lost cause here, doesn't he, Martyn? I mean, it's looked lost for a couple of days, but he means to go down in, I suppose you could argue, the least dignified way at his disposal.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think Arsene Wenger coming out and saying it was absolutely necessary for this World Cup sell-off scheme to be scrapped, and that he knew nothing about it. And then we've had the Secretary General of FIFA, Matthias Grafstrom, who's effectively the sort of head of the FIFA civil service, if you like. He's sent an email out to all staff saying it was a sort of reproachable series of events around this, and making it clear that he was certainly not party to this plan and did not work on this scheme. So I think when you've got people that close to you in the FIFA Executive Office speaking out against it, then surely your time must be up.
Yeah, his closest colleagues, but also in the case of Arsene Wenger, some of the people we're talking about here will not be very widely known outside their own sphere. Arsene Wenger is a revered football manager, a big name in football, and that's going to generate, very, very obviously quite big headlines in its own right. It just piles the pressure on. How much longer can this man Infantino keep going?
I think that's a question that lots of people are asking. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything officially. He can keep going, at least for the time being. But I think if this governance boycott, as it's been called, of FIFA, if the rebel alliance, if you want to call it that, start refusing to take part in meetings and to ratify decisions, then I think sooner or later it's all going to come crashing down. So you're right. It's my understanding is that he's holed up in Rabat in Morocco. He's summoned his loyal staff, the ones that are still remaining anyway, to a sort of crisis meeting tomorrow. So let's see what happens there.
Well, there's something pyrotechnic about the fall of Gianni Infantino, but I mean, you will know as well and better than most people that as and when Infantino goes, that's the beginning of another project. That is about putting in place a FIFA that people can actually look up to, or at least respect, under leadership that has the interests of the game and the spirit of the game, somewhere near their heart, and that is going to be a major project.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking, how do we protect FIFA and football from these sort of people taking it over for whatever reason and being successful? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again? So there's been ideas coming out of Europe. Do we have a rotational system that each just the FIFA president, his time only lasts, or her time only lasts for a World Cup cycle, and then it gets rotated. Some people think that is quite a good idea because you avoid the situation where you have one all-powerful person who sort of reigns for 12, 15 years.
Okay, Martyn Ziegler, Chief Sport Reporter at The Times. Thanks, as always, for your updates and your reflections.